The game starts long before the game starts. And warm hands are faster hands. Gain the upper hand and power up your pregame warm-up with Zippo hand warmers.
Hey, it's a marathon. You know, we're going the distance here at our final match of the week. Or just coming out on top by a hair. That was you're a known ascent enjoyer. You definitely got a lot of ascent this time.
Conditionally. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. You know, I don't want necessarily 24 rounds of ascent, but if I have to take it, then fine. But we saw, like, I don't know, maybe a result of a double controller versus double initiator setup on this map, right? That double controller comp, very, like, defensively powerful, but I mean, Zeldris just went absolutely ape in that second half. Like, monstrous performance from the duelist here. We could see all the problems, right? Like, I think this really illustrates how hard it was for QOR to get info, QOR to really hit these sites. They're getting caught through all these chokes because of all this util being thrown up there. It's like players sort of swinging smokes. This Scrub above literally living inside smokes, causing them so many issues. But they don't have to deal with that to nearly the same degree, I think, on defense, where QOR can post up aggressively. Like, they're constantly putting Zeldris in B main with an operator. The Viper Ball makes that a little bit more challenging for him to get value there, but he's still able to sort of move around the map and have quite an impact there. So that was pretty important for me. The post plants, though, were dicey. I think Gomp has pointed out pretty accurately that if QOR let Thinking Man get in onto a site, I don't know how they would, because they have like one flash, but if they do, then it's very hard to shake them out.
Yeah, and so there's definitely things that, looking back and forth, I feel like this could have really gone either way when we're looking at, like, those sorts of situations, like allowing them to get onto the site, and then when they really shouldn't have had the util to do so. Also, the fact, like, Zeldris was a big step up in this one, but I think really when we were kind of setting the stage, Gomps, that this could be a map that this could be something that goes all three. I mean, there's definitely ebb and flow, a little give and take coming from both sides. That makes me really excited.
No, it definitely is. Especially since, like, man, I think my biggest worry is, like, the struggle that QOR had on a map like this one, especially with it being their map pick. I would say my biggest issue is, moving forward, like, we're going to Thinking Man's map pick now down in Sunset, right? So there is going to be a little bit more comfort there. And I know it sounds kind of like a classic. It's not like it was Thinking Man, purposefully trying to avoid this map. And it definitely may as well could have been their second best map moving towards Ascent. So, don't worry too much. QOR has this. But my thing is, once we start to pass that threshold of Thinking Men almost taking a map away from QOR, that is their comfort pick. That is that first map pick that you should feel the best in because you're running away with it, is the thing that worries me.
Well, take a look at the players, how they did in this series. We already talked about Zeldris and just the absolutely fantastic series that he had on this one. I mean, yeah, 33 and 15. Pretty good at the game. I have to say, though, I do like what Thinking Men pulled out here. MIBR comp with this Sky, this Viper here, Uber. And honestly, even if it wasn't exactly what we expected coming out of them, I definitely think there was some really good thought put behind it and why they switched over to it.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really oppressive on the defense, right? It looked very, very good. But, Ascent's that kind of map, really. Like, if you get 9 rounds on defense, you're not out of the woods yet. And if you have a composition that's, like, not that balanced, right, sort of across the whole map, you don't have great options for initiation, for example, like when it comes to the attacking side, you still can't really feel that comfortable going 9 and 3, which is kind of wild. Look, it does help that Zeldris has 4 3Ks and a 4K, and basically just, rips heads off, like, a lot of the time. Because, like, a lot of these eliminations here don't even happen as a result of first kills, first death, because Zeldris is holding angles that aren't always being run into. He still goes 7 and 4 first kill, first death. So that's very, very solid. He's very active early in the rounds. For me, it was the defending rounds when QOR lose a round, and then they were on like a half buy, and then they just push up cat and push through mid. And they do it like a couple times after losing a round. They just throw these rounds in and Thinking Men are never ready for it because QOR have conditioned them that they will give up mid entirely and just play to the extremities. And there's one round where they do this and they've literally got sheriffs. They get 2 kills off that aggressive pop and they end up winning the round against a full bore Thinking Man. Those rounds don't happen. This result looks completely different.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think too much about that one, that mid there, but no, you're 100% right there. And definitely something to kind of take away looking into our next map here, looking into Sunset of the series, is they're now down a map, and they have to make sure they're on their toes, looking for those sorts of tendencies, those sort of repeated behaviors coming out from Core. And we're looking at Sunset as well. I'm curious, when we're looking at the side of Core and the composition that they like to be bringing out, or at least the one that they have in the past here, Gomps, how prepared Thinking Men will be for what Core has for them?
How prepared? Man. I feel like
Have
definitely...
to be prepared for Sage.
Listen, I think in terms of preparation, I think you really do have to be more prepared for the side of like how Zeldris is going to react to information. And I think Thinking Men knows Zeldris is going to be a huge threat. Actually, I believe maybe I'm actually lying. Yeah. I think maybe I'm lying. That sounds terrible. No, Zeldris is definitely going to be Zeldris is definitely going to be a big threat, and that's one of the issues that I feel like Thinking Men know, and that's what they had to try to face, obviously, on a map like Ascent. So making sure that they're not feeding into any sort of aggressive 1v1s. I know Zeldris likes to push out from time to time with Op just to find those first engagements. So not giving yourself to those isolations is most definitely key, especially with a star player like Zeldris, and they are feeling it today. So that's dangerous.
It really, really is. At least for Thinking Men, they haven't played Sunset yet when we're looking at their Challengers run in the last couple of weeks. But this was a really, really popular map for them when we're looking back at the qualification. So they definitely have their reps on this map. So it's not something that, okay, well, we're just getting familiar with the map. We haven't played it too much, and all of a sudden we have to be prepared for this stage that we're not prepared for. So I think, Uber, when we're looking at this fact that this has been a pretty comfortable map when we're looking at the qualifiers for them, they are 100%. They play it like 9 out of 9 times they're winning this. That if the only thing they have to adjust to is the stage, I'm assuming coming into a week as pivotal as this one with relegation on the line, that they had to have done their homework here.
Yeah, I mean, easily. They've got the tape. They've got a lot, and especially if you have a team that comes out with like a Sage comp, you're probably going to end up watching that VOD pretty closely just to kind of see what they do with it. Because it is a comp that punishes teams that want to play retake. Like they give up A-Link, you just wall A-Link. Or you do some annoying boost and put them in a position where they're not even safe when they play off the sites. They normally play a breach like fade setup, which we saw earlier on today, right? Which is pretty good for taking mid control, right? You'd obviously leer into mid, take control, smoke behind it, but what we saw in that earlier match was that, the team with the breach fade comp weren't able to use it effectively to pinch B by working through market. Like they still had to get into market, and there were a lot of ways that they would get tripped up along the way. There were not many post plants, right? Because they couldn't really get to the sites. You have a breach though, and breach is very good at forcing players off those posted lines. We saw it a bunch at A elbow. And you can also do it at B to try and threaten. But that was against a team like M80 who aren't going to be shaken by that kind of setup. But as that stun, that composition offers you here, it is, I think, a lot different to what like the Core were looking to play, compositionally. So Core normally like the pretty standard like Ray setup with the Sova. So both teams will have scan operators most likely.
Hey, I mean, we're definitely been talking about the tendencies, but time to get that locked in confirmation for sure. Already been a swap with the agent composition as our last map. Let's see if any surprises this time. Agent select's ready, so I'll see you two later.
All right, so again, we expect different comps between these two. Well, actually, both end up coming out with the breaches here. Yeah. Right, so we have the Sova fade is the only big difference here, Gompers, really.
Yeah, it's so different too, because I'm so used to seeing the... I honestly, I feel like I've been seeing a pretty heavy abuse of Gecko, which I really do like. But in terms of like the breach, this is fine to me. Obviously, we did see a breach come through from One Thrup. We talked a bit about it on a map like this one. I do like breach, and it's not that I don't. I think it was just not utilized in the way that it should have been. And so I'm excited to see how these teams are going to try to bring that breach into a different perspective, into a different light. Obviously, the Sova kind of taking that switch of the fade, like you had mentioned as well. So definitely being that difference. We did discuss briefly too, T-Dog being so good on the Sova. So I do feel like this is fit.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we, see less and less of. I think the Sova on this kind of map, sometimes we see like KO Gecko, right? That's the other look. In our Winthrop versus M80 game, we didn't have any duplicate initiators across the entire map in general. But we know how powerful the breach is, right? Breach has a shock and awe ultimate that can be used to basically guarantee that you take a site, and you have to play accordingly. Every round, that Rolling Thunder is available. If you know that you're going to get pushed into by the breach, you have to change very differently. I like this setup a lot. This is the fault line. You know, fault line, sometimes paranoia follows this here. And this is a pretty common one, but very effective, especially on these pistols.
Now blockading the site from Zeldris, but nobody pushed up. Already some of the util just gone on the side of Reformed, but it's interesting the way that they're playing. It feels like I'm seeing the attack play defense the way that Reformed has set up their utility as well.
They respected the one-way at A, I guess, which is something that Core were, you know, sort of banking on them not, like pushing ahead of it. Well, Zip was ready to pick up where he left off on this map, apparently. There's a tripwire. Again, there's the question of how easy it's going to be to clear that utility, right? As the attackers, they don't have a shock dart to clear that opening straight away. Hey, how about that one? T-Dog, he got a bit of a talking up in the pre-game on his sofa, and that's a great way to demonstrate what he's capable of. Well, close the door to market now, leaves Zeldris to run wild in mid, and so he does. Rough shot over Reformed.
Yeah, Zenny flawless to start off the round in terms of core. And a good one at that. I mean, a perfect way to start off the game in general of this series, especially after running away with that 13-11 in the last one. So definitely having to feel good. But now you have to secure that. Now you have to lock it down. I'm not even sure. Like, for core in general, I think my biggest takeaway is already starting off, Snarly's putting in some good work with the breach util, which I do like, kind of allowing Zeldris that space.
Yeah, again, I mean, there will be rounds where the attackers can't afford to respect the one-way coming over towards A, and they have to sort of push through. And that's one sort of situation which you can exploit them. And you can still do that here without the extra omen at the site. Just a tech pause here now, so it looks like Nerve hasn't even left spawn. So we'll wait on a update briefly about what is causing this mild delay here. Zeldris, he just wants to get back down to business. Coming off a 33-16 game on the Jet. Really showing his stuff on Ascent and turning around here on the Rays, looking to make a comparable impact. And in a few moments, we'll be back into the action as round 2 commences.
Yeah, pretty heavy on the A site as well. But this is beautiful. I can already see the vision here, right? You got a fault line being prepped up, not to mention as well a one-way smoke for the possibility of watching this alongside Zeldris. So this is huge. You keep yourself intact. You have that crossfire hold. And now, of course, fault line comes through, allowing Zeldris some space, but then not getting taken out just yet.
Really clever. He realized, I think, that the Omen TP'd ahead of the fault line and that he would get overwhelmed before he was ready because he had that util out. Satchel's away. Scruff above, though, just great little shoulder picks here, drawing the shots out of Zeldris. You'll notice the attackers are pretty damaged, though. I think those paint shells definitely left a mark. Great way to break the crosshair placement. The util usage here is good. Winthrop take notes, honestly. This is an area where they really struggled to take control of in their particular match. And Reform with the classic is able to bring 2 players crumbling down. That spike, though, is inching back out of elbow. There might be a problem. Snarly's in a position to intercept here, but bites off more than he can chew. It's up to Ziff.
Okay, slow peak moving forward. All they need to do is stall for time. 40 seconds left. Now, finally, beautiful shots left forward. And it gives them a chance. Of course, health low on both sides. All it takes is one steady shot to find yourself that victory.
30 seconds left.
Exactly. Heading up into A-Link here, maybe anticipating the Cypher to rotate this way. As if, though, how long until he sort of sniffs this out? I don't think he'll ever be. He walks. Oh! Wow. Okay, that was almost disastrous for Vix, but he gets away with it there. Kudos to Thinkerman. Like, they scale into elbow very well. They shake Zeldris off that post, and then they flood.
This should do.
When you miss the shots, that's gotta hurt. It kind of reverts back to Thinking Man now too, so you gotta force a save. Obviously, if you're on the side of core, which is super uncomfortable. You know, you expect yourself to win a round like that one, and then you get thriftied. So definitely not doing too good on the mental, especially now. A big rotation over towards me. So many players just watching, kind of reassuring themselves that this side is on lockdown.
So again, the conditioning continues. Even though Nerve's across the map, he still sets that one way up over on A, because he wants to slow Thinkerman down and imply his presence at the very least. But it is a gamble stack towards B for core right now. he's lining up that fault line here, just in case someone is playing from behind that masonry in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
And maybe they're expecting QOR to do that defensive mid-pop that they
get him.
went for on Ascent, but different map, different situation. It's not happening here.
Trying to force some sort of push up towards mid, which might work, but then at the same time, and it's up to the noise to be made. Yeah, there goes Div, finally finding some of that information, and Scrubblebub to clear out the mid side as that lurk starts to come through.
QOR taking plenty of map control here, but it can only send the Omen to TP over the trap wire. And he might not have the timing here. There'll be another trap wire that he'll have to contend with. Fortunately, he has another TP. This might be far too slow here for the liking of QOR. Util getting spent on an empty site. QOR happy enough with that here. They're going to have to try and set up for a full surround post plant.
Yeah, plant goes down, but Scrubblebub's feeling pretty curious around the backside. I don't think Nerve's going to give in to this, though. Especially with the plant already down. They're going to have to fight this 4v5 situation with Sheriffs in hand. They're going to have to do it regardless, though, of the circumstances. So, yeah, just getting prepped and ready. Tons of util to utilize on the side of Nerve if they want to put into that investment, but so much damage as well.
Yeah, hanging on the life at 2 HP. Scrubblebub, though, picked his timing pretty well. Nerve spent a lot of time meandering around mid there, maybe trying to check mid for his teammates sitting at A-Link here. Thinking men are going to get out and QOR are going to die to the spike, as is customary.
One enemy remaining.
Or give their opponent some free kills. Fair enough, either way. Nicely done by Thinking Men. They make the right choice and move into the empty site.
Yeah, now a refresh, right? We get equal playing field to kind of get a redemption arc from QOR Gaming, especially after losing out on that anti-eco round, which definitely was not fortunate for them. And huge for them as well, because I'm seeing a couple of ultimates that are ready to be unlocked on the side of QOR Gaming, just needing to farm some orbs and maybe even a plant. Or a defuse, my apologies. But yeah, overall, set up down towards B. Tons of util just allowing them to get early information through A, and this is huge. They know exactly where this team might be residing.
Bolt line to set up Zeldris for the double satchel into mid. No one was home in the end. This one way is going to buy a fair bit of time, as if peering under it here, just in case he sees the ankle socks of his opponent. He's having to get away, paint with a satchel on towards the side, but Ziv slips away. Now they're having to play from the extremity here. Briefly we'll be joined by T-Dog, but will the timing be quick enough for a double swing? No, Paint gets the 1v1, and now T-Dog is in a weird position. Gets a crack at it. It's a little bit of damage, but we are in the post plant now. The shock dart starting to force Thinking Men back, at least from Boba. But it's going to need more than that to get them out of there. Nerve doesn't have a paranoia available. Players in market get absolutely gunned down.
One enemy
The Scrubblebub just checks the outside extremity of that smoke. QOR look a little bit listless in the face of this pressure, and all Nerve can do is get his.
Wow. And they already took it back. 3-1 QOR, again, broke. And somehow having to just grasp at straws. Right here was the beauty of it, though. I'm seeing a lot of split plays coming through from QOR. Nobody is playing together. And it would have been beautiful there to utilize the util to push yourself onto site, but everyone was so desperate to keep the control that they actually ended up giving themselves the disadvantage, leaving themselves on site. Snarly peeking out just for a second to put a fault line through when Zeldris was fighting site alone. So it's stuff like this that you got to, keep into account. Unfortunately now, though, already a possible 2K left down from Paint, and Zeldris trying to nade their way out.
Pretty nice from Paint there. More than happy to charge in, knowing he's going up against a bit of a weaker buy. Still, QOR have made the right choice by and large by being set up here at A. And now for Think a minute, so how do we tease out some more of these resources, util, players, information, anything that they can get without having to take risks in close quarters against the Sheriffs?
Silent for now, but eventually explosion onto site, just waiting for that 30-second mark. And Snarly doesn't have much to play with either. A possibility for a flash to push out in a fault line, but it's Zeldris to take out Scrubblebub, so you already lose another one from Thinking Men.
I'll find you.
You deserve a vandal too.
Yeah.
Is that neural theft?
planted. My ult is ready.
Zip making sure there's no nasty surprises waiting for them on this retake attempt.
Marked one.
He managed to catch one there.
Wow.
Fault line. Oh, okay, the showstopper follows it in straight away. Now things get awkward. Zeldris here with a double stack. Going to be playing off Snarly, both only on those sheriffs. The Vandals is on its way, but it's coming through spawn, so a little later. Force back behind the smoke. I think men, they've got to play from halls now, and they've had this round taken from their hands. Just torn away from them. And Core coming in this round with 5 sheriffs.
Thrifty.
3 guns? Mental.
And then not to mention they just whiffed the shots. Oh, in the last second coming through from Thinking Man. No, that was beautiful. Zeldris, a 3K off the start and then pushing through with the showstopper. Absolutely unbelievable. They cleared the site. And it's funny because Zeldris didn't even need the Vandal. It was nerve to come around the back with a hero rifle. A bit too late, but regardless, everybody did a pretty good job on the side of Core Gaming of taking back. Due to a save round, though, tons of ultimates ready. And honestly, ready for use on the side of Thinking Man. So, with that being said, definitely having to think about where they're going to use those ultimates. I think a big thing would possibly be allowing Paint to just clear some space there with a showstopper.
So far, the double satchel plays have been really effective from Paint. In that previous round, I think maybe Paint hoping for more than just a 1-for-1. But not every round for a duelist is going to turn out that way. Sometimes you have to be satisfied with getting traded. The problem is that if you double satchel in, normally the spacing between you and your teammates is too great to ensure a trade. That's when it can get a little bit awkward. But these are the risks you take when you are on the duelist go kill plan. And that Nightfall got thrown out by Lear there sort of during that post-plant scenario, but pretty limited value able to be gleaned from it as Lear was basically stuck in place as the showstopper came into the site. 12,000 credits of free guns went over to Core after that round. We saw that happen as well on Ascent when they had that little mid-pop defensively. And it really slanted the game in their favor for quite a few rounds after that.
Still waiting. I was about to say thank you guys for your patience, but yeah, thank you guys for your patience. Technical pause up so we can actually see, how this round is going to go, especially with that. The turret happening with Core Gaming finally taking things back after 3 rounds in a row of Thinking Man, pushing them back into a corner, but it's Vix here. It's actually looking for something big to push out through the B side.
I think here from this angle, you can deny the high ground position on top of the kiosk. No, Zeldris actually is unperturbed here. Here comes Paint though.
Wow.
Stunned up. Took a bit of damage for that, but at least he's able to take Zeldris out of the equation already. Here's the neural theft. It's going to make it even harder now for Core to obscure their positioning. Boombot comes out and Paint follows it after. That's much better than the aforementioned trade that the Rays sometimes gets left with. Snarly is a decent spot in mid there, but this place is teeming with thinking men.
Remaining.
Combined Brain Plow could run CERN for a day. And it's only T-Dog now, who eventually will fall in short succession, and back to business here for Thinking Men.
Quicker round than I was expecting, quite honestly, but they did use a lot of ultimates on the board. Honestly, that was such a great way to entry into market as well. Tons of util expended. I mean, the original start with the breach util to try to clear the angle. Of course, Paint was sat up top, but then again, the fault line to give that extra sense of security. And it's stuff like that leads to clearings like this. So Thinking Men doing a great job at reading into the team of Core. Kind of identifying repetitive habits, which definitely works in favor.
Zeldris here with eyes for mid. Here's the classic Lear and smoke top mid play. Try and scale into market. Door drop down briefly. Nerve going to TP across in the direction of Boba here. So market now very lightly held by the defenders. Think I'm in no hurry though to rotate off this spot.
Yeah, not at the moment, but finally pushing themselves in. Paint stunned. Although regardless of the stun, finding one. Thinking that everybody's just really pushing down to it. And you would think to consider that T-Dog would possibly be able to find one. Of course, finding some damage maybe with the ultimate alone, but still though taking some of these fights. And finding another one with the stinker. 70 health left on Scrubble Bub, and paranoia to utilize, though it doesn't seem like they can find T-Dog. Actually, they do, but a 3K left to their name and a pickup of a Vandal. A nice round from Core.
Honestly, it's just a great round from T-Dog there as well. He wins that challenge from A-Link with nothing but a Stinger, I think. And then forces the TP in to recover the spike by Scrabble Bubble, and then has already got himself a Vandal. And again, just takes a very standard swing and clutches out. Great individual moment there for T-Dog. Very well deserved 7 and 5 so far. And Core is starting to weave these defensive rounds in here and there.
Okay, no surely.
I think he meant continuously looking at mid, which they've just given that up. They know all they need to do is hold sight when you're on the side of Core, and especially with spikes surrounded down towards the extremities of A. Definitely looking good in the hands of T-Dog if they can play this with nerve well.
Hotline set up here. This could be paint satchel. Here we go. Beautiful. Again, another great raise and breach setup. That once again gives paint virtually a free kill. And now you don't have to worry too much about how you scale into elbow because it's yours. You've earned it.
And when the showstopper just comes out, this might be beautiful. If they can just continue their way down towards the back, yeah, but they're not going to want to peek this angle. If anything, just pushing through, yeah, with the showstopper, making sure they don't get taken out before that post plant. Because again, thinking that they have such a good post plant position, they can keep it, but the Rolling Thunder there, and it allows more for Zeldris. Second one set down in its core to take back the site.
Young God Zeldris, beautiful stuff again. Another example of why breach and raise are so powerful together. Great bold line, no fix. Couldn't see the wood for the trees. Flashed up there by that flashpoint. Can't complete the shot. This is tit for tat stuff here. Thinking men, after a demoralizing loss in that first map, keeping it close.
That's a great way to end the round. If anything, man, Invictus was so close to running away with one, maybe clearing the angle, but you know, thinking man, they do have solid holds, they do have solid post-plant positions, but the fact that they kind of just pushed out that Rolling Thunder at such a perfect moment was impeccable, and that's again, the joys of playing a breach, the joys of having the breach down in your composition to utilize for moments like those. They're definitely keeping that down in the back of their heads, hoping
That goes there. Yes.
maybe at least with this pop-up from Zeldris' ult, the showstopper, that they might just be able to pull through with something else.
This time they brought the breach over to A, the defenders.
Cover
There's no
going
fault
up.
line set up for tiles here, so this won't be an aggressive pop. That's the giveaway. Actually, it's coming in a bit later. The defensive fault line gets ignored. Here's the aggressive one. Zeldris having a satchel away. Paint in hopper shoe, but has no satchels of his own left to spend. Paint wins it out there. Despite the shells exploding around him once more, Thinking Man get a two-player advantage without entering the A site at all.
They are just not letting it down, waiting for Core to make a mistake, as they have time and time again, especially with this 5-person roster. They barely had any weapons to start, but now they've picked up 2.
Cutting Noise trying to drag that Sova and Cypher away. It works. It puts Cypher on the wrong side of that A-Link smoke. This syncopation in tempo just gave them a free kill there.
One enemy remaining.
And now it should be a matter of landing the plane.
Drop the
There's only
spike.
Zip left, who does have some money left, but
Cover going
no
up.
way he's going for
30
this.
seconds left.
He's going to chill in spawn and see if he can get an exit.
Spike planted.
Nice to hand it over to Vix too, because now they've actually the plant. Now they're trying to get that ultimate down for the next round. Maybe see if they can farm an orb or two. But yeah, Ziff backing off, does not want anything to do with the situation, going over towards A. And that was a good round. Honestly, it was pretty repetitive from Core. They've been doing that A site hold from time to time. I think Thinking Men kind of just caught on to it. It was the obviously going down to Nerve, Zeldris, and I believe it's Snarly. You know, a stun coming down towards mid, and then 2 players slowly peeking outwards. So they had a good advantage when it comes down to being in that save round position, and then seeing something that you've seen before, knowing how to handle that situation. So hopefully, you know, in the future for Core, definitely keeping in mind that they can't continue to do the same thing over and over again.
You can see why Thinkerman chose this map now.
Yeah.
Because a couple of these little set plays are really, really well drilled. Like QOR were trying to do the same thing. They were like, okay, we're gonna fault line them.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna send our rays out. But the timing was way off. They also had no chance, they had no way of getting information about like where the attackers were in terms of A-long. They just kind of had to guess and hope they found something. Whereas if you're the attacker, you're gonna go. They're gonna be there. Like your opponents are gonna be far more statically positioned. And you're always gonna catch that player in elbow. Which is the freest of free kills that you got. And then you drew another QOR player out just on virtue of him looking for a trade. So I can see, like, again, if QOR keep falling for this stuff early in the round, if they don't vary their positioning enough, if they're going to post on the same angles, if they're going to, again, struggle to gain information to make their util count, they're going to lose more of these rounds.
Setting themselves up for the next round. I thought they were going to do the same setup again because I did see the Omen in the breach. But going over towards A, but it seems like not. Yeah, what is... Oh, I like the cam. Going towards...
Are they playing around the
Yeah.
The breach off here, mate? They might have to just like set themselves up differently here. Because they're expecting a move.
I'll find you.
I'm not sure. I don't see... Yeah. No, I feel like they'd be playing a bit more retake potential there. Possibly thinking that it's going to happen towards A. Most definitely, yeah. But a strong push already led it towards Paint, unfortunately. Can't actually seem to get one down.
No, I mean, Paint's had a great game so far. But that's just one of those situations where you've got to be a bit audacious, right? T-Dog, though, is not the kind of person who's going to be rattled by that upfront aggression. Yeah, Zeldris was never going to get away from that. Great paranoia. Scrubblebub has been excellent with these responsive Omen flashes on this map. Now, you went 2 for 2. You're happy with this as attackers. You have a player advantage now, pressing on its B side. You have anti-flank util, and now you have all the info.
Shadows traveling.
Oh, and they've gotten it. Information. Scrubblebub knows they have to watch Snarly towards the backhand site, but again, Snarly has a phone line still readily available to utilize in case T-Dog feels curious enough to peek the angle, but now they move themselves down towards backside, so they're playing together here for QOR, and this might be best case scenario, but the plant goes down, and now the possible fault line.
Scrubblebub trying to spam there just to protect Leah from the fault line follow-up. Seems to have worked for now. Spike is down.
Cover going
All on the smoke up here for Scrubblebub, so you might just
No more meddling.
refresh that one that would allow Leah to get a bit closer towards market.
One enemy
This side
remaining.
and half. This should be pretty straightforward for Thinkerman. T-Dog is really up against it. Knows where both these players are coming from. No util to clear that close corner. And that's that. Straightforward VALORANT here. Thinkerman with a simple but very effective few setups to hit these sides with.
This goes here.
Thinking men do not make it easy for anyone, to be completely frank with you, especially with their overall composition. I feel like the Fade definitely serves a higher purpose on the attack as well over the, Sova playing on that defense. I don't think we've seen a lot of information come through so early on, in terms of QOR and what they can find. It seems like they might want to push out mid to try to test for that. Then again, Cam's still surrounding there, so they're going to get some nice info as to, what's going on down in market.
So they're just holding angles there. I guess it's fair, especially with like the breaches pushing into tiles to fault line A. Maybe they're hoping for a bit more push out mid. A lot of Cypher util here, but this can be cleared. And here it is, the Rolling Thunder comes on in. Paint with the satchel forward. Not a target-rich environment though, as Zip is able to get back to safety for now. The site belongs to the attackers. Scrubblebub though wants more. He's hungry. He's found 2. He's far from done. Only the 2-course meal, but he's going to have to be satisfied because Paint will be there to clean up the scraps.
Funneling themselves. They all just...
round in the
they tried to fight as a team, which I highly respect, but it seems like, again, missed shots, missed opportunities. The timing was a bit off playing into that 1v what? Like, you see this. Everybody peeking individually, allowing this team to just abuse that position. And honestly, if they had all been there consecutively, time their peaks, time that fight, I genuinely think it would have been a different story. It would have been a possible picket for a Vandal. It would have been a back off from Thinking Man and some pressure there. Again, unfortunately, it's not very easy to win a pistol round like that, but big push coming through from the B side. Zeldris getting cocky.
Last time we got caught out by Paranoia here. Oh, that's a nice little angle there. That is going to spot Pain out. That recon. Zeldris, of course, can sack you off his position. They are going to clear it. Okay, we'll just take that. How about this one? Now the C. Are you satisfied? Are you ready to go? No, apparently not. Scrubblebuff gets taken down. Zeldris finds a second. Audacity. Again, flowing free. Paint doesn't quite get away though from the Hunter's Fury. T-Dog is quick on the trigger finger. Reform wanted to try and make his way past that trap wire, but Snarly knew better. Gora found another rhythm here. And a great time to find it in the last round of the half to secure your fifth. It's all going to be up to Leah now with the spike. And now that information revealed, there's no point trying to obscure yourself. There's no point trying to cut noise. Just go and try and get the job done.
Now with the attempt to slowly move in and work it. Doesn't work out for Thinking Men.
Switching
and Core
sides.
taking that 5 to 7. So now we switch the sides. And I feel like this is where it's going to serve. I mean, possibly Core gaming a little bit better. Of course, T-Dog now able to gather site information as that Sova player, which I really do like. Again, I don't feel like it did serve a higher purpose when it came down to the defense. But I do think T-Dog is a lot better when it comes to trying to, whether it be gather information or a lot of the time shock darts or recon darts being pushed out just for the sake of kind of knowing where these players are, having them shoot it, having them bait it out. So I do think that's where T-Dog really does fit best.
Okay, let's get set up.
Now you can just see, I think, like how powerful the breach is when you get to be proactive and not reactive, right? As attackers, so a lot of value attained by Vix with those fault line setups. Core now are in a position where they get to dictate the pace. They get to dictate when those pops occur, as opposed to trying to guess as to where the defenders are lined up. All the attention here for the defenders was on market until that one shot came out. Orb seems to be enough to satisfy Core, though, as they pull out.
They have tons of information, Med. Thinking Men, no.
They do.
And with the jiggle piece coming through, again, you can see the curiosity leaning over a bit more towards B because there isn't too heavy of a push moving forward on the defense. So this might actually mess them up a little bit.
Revealing area.
The pull rotates out by cutting noise. I think Thinking Men were expecting a double fake. They might have been right, but just not in the timing that they thought. Yep, here we go. Back over towards B now. We're running out of time. Scrubblebuff's going to be in a great position to intercept this. And there's no way T-Dog is checking that angle. Good for one, but nice little flank there from Tile. Ziff has a presence of mind to take a different route than the rest of Core on the way to B. And guess what? It's another pump fake. We're over towards A here. Thinking Man now really having their mental bandwidth stretched. As with about 8 seconds left, we're going to see a plant start to go down here. But bear in mind, none of this has been cleared. Core have no real information about this part of the map outside of mere speculation. But it's enough for them to commit to the plant.
Yeah, that they will do. As that smoke starts to dissipate, Core realize they need this round. They need to take things down to that 7-7. Thinking Men having the lead is not necessarily where they want it to be, but then again, Pain shall push back to try to at least redirect some of that attention. Maybe even then just try to clear the angle, but a fault line readily available for the sake of nerf.
There's that aftershock to punish the planter's position. Leah pulls one over on Zeldris here, but everybody else on Core has a decent angle to work with. Just going to be Paint. This would be the time to come alive now to win a pistol. The Core say no. That was, from Thinking Men's perspective, the most annoying round. Getting pulled back and forth across the map over and over again. Core so frustrating. They finally commit to A and they get it done.
Yeah, but that's what you got to do. You got to tire the team out. Honestly, make them feel as though they have no other choice than to kind of rush the site, which, again, they kind of did. Having the plant down early, setting themselves up for success when it comes down to Core Gaming. And now, I mean, fully investing into a Phantom down in the second round of this anti-eco. So, and you can already see what they're aiming for. And that's just picks.
Ziff as well knows if he equips himself well on this round, he can get that neural theft online and reveal the defender's setup. So this buy round doesn't walk into any traps. An orb would be enough, but you see that thing's guarded by Thinking Men here staunchly. There's the paranoia. Hey, Aldrone is the one that draws that out, though, so no casualties as a result of this discovery. T-Dog barely a scratch on him, able to back away from B.
Yeah, they continue the process forward towards A. A huge rotation already on the side of Thinking Man, but it's the same thing, right? There's such a big struggle on every single map that we see being played from Core and Thinking Man. And now, I mean, how big is the struggle going to be trying to take yourself back onto site, especially with the amount of util already being expended out to the extremities?
Very big. It's a big struggle because they plant out in the open gompers and they have every angle covered. They've got short covered. Link is definitely got eyes on it, as you can see here. And with no util from the attackers outside of a singular smoke, and this is absolutely chalked. Zeldris, though, will hold his angle despite knowing how far ahead Core are. He doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks. Scrub above eventually will get his.
One enemy remaining.
Zeldris knows that sometimes that the dish better served cold. He will suffer at the hands of Leah here. But there's nothing that the latter can do. T-Dog will bring him to heal, and Core have evened up the game. Great conversion on the pistol.
And even better conversion, too, because, again, we still have a Phantom readily available, and now a Vandal, checked out as well. So they're putting everything into this round just to hope and pray that they can run away with the victory and possibly take themselves into the lead. Because, again, you give this away to Thinking Men. You give them the momentum, you give them the opportunity, and that's not what we want to do here, especially if you're Core Gaming. But Thinking Men definitely putting on a hell of a show when it comes down to their defense. Trying to see how well that's going to work out, especially with 3 players surrounded down in A, and the spike now rotating on the side of Core down towards A as well.
Oh, that was subtle. The Lear and smoke towards mid to imply like a stronger presence than just your breach sitting in tiles with the lineup. Okay, great counter. Fault line, though, there. That's something we did not see much from Core at all. So that stops Zeldris in his tracks. No satchel. Turns the flash. Paint. Thinks twice about peeking that angle. There's a lot of players here. This is going to create some space here and buy more time. The Siege, though, doesn't find its mark. Thinking Men are falling back.
Here.
And they're pushing themselves out towards mid. And you can hear the noise. Everybody knows. The pings are already kind of getting set down on the side of Thinking Men. Now trying to push themselves onto a side. What was that?
Spike
Nobody
down mid.
making any sense of flashes. They just push.
Into a one-way, no less. That is never going to end well. There's bonus now for Core going madly awry as they get staved off of A by great breach util timing. They just can't go for that at all. Thinking they now have a staging ground back into this game. This is... Do they think no one's in market? I'm not sure. Pushing that one way, I guess they feel like they're pressured. They've got no choice to go there, but such a low percentage situation to prevail. You have no satchels either as raised. You can't break crosshair placement for the rest of your team pushing that one way. Bruh. Bruh.
The bruh just honestly really had me there. That was pretty good. Yeah, Cam's still set up to watch flank though, so it is going to be a pretty heavy and aggressive push down towards B. If they have any util to utilize to try to take this down, I mean, shock dart still readily available. Of course, Elger's getting caught out and now caught down as well, so it's up to Vix now trying to get some sprays through down in market.
Vix is dominating. He has the sense of timing here that for the second round in a row is completely caught Core off guard. And specifically Zeldris. He can't pop off and be that very active early round duelist when every time he satchels, he lands on a literal fault line. Beautiful. How do you recover from this? You're on the side, you have to post plant. That's good. Thumbs up for that. But there's a flank coming in awful quick and Paint. Being very careful about it. Satcheling up onto the high ground there. Has an unexpected angle, but no one was ready for him anyway.
Charges. Satchel out.
Okay. Bot out.
Last player standing.
Wow.
Snarly was low, was able to hold on. Hang about. Hang about. Leah now sees the fault line, is able to step ahead of it here, but Core have 3 up to work with. Big damage on Leah, forced away now at 40 HP. You can't fight this. You need to break your way through the door and get the heck out of dodge.
Desperately knifing the wall. Please let me out. I feel like that would be my thought process in a situation like that
definitely,
one.
that's what I would have felt. Yeah, 1 HP.
Whatever
That is
happens,
pretty, man,
don't
pretty
panic.
scary. The fact that,
Grappling is best for your aim.
I mean, Snarly kind of just ran away with that one is insane. 10 assists, by the way, playing on the breach. I mean, in comparison to Vix, it's pretty close regardless, but even though we don't see, you know, like, I guess like a large amount of KDA or kills to death ratio, I do genuinely think Snarly is putting in a lot of impact when it comes down to the game. And I've been seeing a lot more on the attack, to be completely honest with you. I feel like Challengers has been stepping up to the plate a little bit more, if anything, T-Dog as well.
Yeah, it's funny. We spend so much time talking about Vix's fault lines, right? Because we're watching them. But a lot of the time in like those late post plant scenarios, it's like the flashpoints from Snarly that are setting up. Like we just saw Core with 3 in the kill feed, basically out of nowhere when they were getting pinched on by a raise from behind. So those 10 assists, Snarly's like manufacturing a lot of opportunities in the heat of these fights for his teammates to get an advantage. So, it's just sad that we've overlooked that to some degree because we're spending so much time nerding out over like just the timings of Vix here, just interrupting some of these attacking set plays. But Core won that round for a reason. Fantastic turnaround.
I'm having to turn it around again. I mean, the only thought process that I could have if I was Core, or my apologies if I'm thinking then, is I mean, really just farming the orbs. There's a free chance down in B, for a free orb as well as A. Seems like the B site definitely taking a toll on Core, especially as it's worked before, but a TP out and so much pressure just off of that blast pack heard from Zeldris.
As Zeldris doesn't have to put himself in harm's way to create a huge amount of space here on the site, which you just fill up. Last round, things fell apart for Thinkerman on this retake. Now Core have an extra player to play this scenario with. They have limited market control, and it's being pinged out right now by Core as like a potential avenue of approach for the defenders. Cybercage confirming that a little bit. That aftershock is going to slow things down. Beautiful. Look at this. To follow up on the fault line, T-Dog is able to find paint there. So now there's the shock and awe aspect of the raise out of the picture. Zeldris though is under serious pressure. Can't win it out. Lee going to push through, spraying as he goes. Cybercage to give T-Dog at least a little bit of room. But that paranoia is an issue. Now the TP on him is going to be overwhelmed here, but still, Lear and T-Dog in the 1v1. Wow. There's no time for the defuse. Lear has to accept his fate. And Core is definitely not clean. It was a messy, messy post plant. But hey, they're going to get out to keep buying, and they're keeping that lead going.
Yeah, that's crazy. Despite fighting so hard for Lear, just the time wasn't necessarily there. And I mean, that's got to take semi of a toll, though. The 3 ultimates that we were talking about before are completely up and ready. So, orbs farmed, plants farmed as well. All they need to do now is really utilize that to the best of their abilities. Seems like here Vix is already getting ready to, create a fault line, but the mid is looking heavily contested by the side of Thinking Man.
Oh, they spotted paint going into tiles. That's huge. Man, beautiful recon by T-Dog. And that shuts down the raise play. I think there might have been a walk up and a satchel showstopper there. That was huge.
Here.
On a slow wraparound, actually, paint. They had to take that reposition because they were spotted, so they didn't necessarily get one, but it's Nerve readily prepared for Thinking Men to peek the angle. The only other person that could really take this fight is Paint, of course, though. Showstopper already coming through and finding one, but then Zeldris slowly pushing these players back, and that was a beautiful start. But regardless, actually, Paint the one down despite that.
Look at how low Snarly and Nerve are. Oh my god. That is going to be so annoying. Paint's going to be looking at that post-round damage recap and be like, really, man? Brutal. And now, of course, neural theft. From Ziv tells you that the defenders aren't really set up embedded on the A site here, so you can force them to stay back in spawn with this Omen smoke.
Yeah.
They tried to lead their way in because Thinking Men aren't sure just how quick Core have gotten here. But they are very, very low. That damage from the showstopper, yeah, it matters. Lee's able to get an easy pistol kill there.
12 seconds left and a Dream to get the spike down, which they will. Big rotation coming through from Thinking Man, but then again, 4v4 situation. I mean, there's not much of a disadvantage. I feel like, if anything, a better position to be in is Snarly. Snarly just has to sit back and allow this team to thrive, but now the ultimate set down and the Nightfall there.
THK has no choice but to stand and fight here. Yeah, caught inside a cyber cage and gobbled up. But this is huge. Zeldris gets in through market. Doesn't have the best angle on the spike, but no one's going to really think you're going to come from here. And that's a third. Scovelbup able to hang on here, but now in a 2v1. Yes, Snarly is low, but they have perfect post-plant angles, and again, there's not enough time left. That little pump fake back from A towards B makes it impossible for Thinking Men to salvage the round.
Yeah, Core with another one. And it's starting to get better and better. We have 3 post-plant scenarios. It wasn't one of those issues where they managed to take everybody out. Whoop-de-doo. They're playing the objective. They don't need to take everybody out. They take the site. They play that post-plant objective, and they make this team feel as though they need to force because the economy is so bad at this point that they really have to. I mean, there really isn't any desire to push up and lose the Vandal that they can carry on into the next round. Looking into it as well. T-Dog trying to gather information early on, but then a fake TP for a huge distraction down in B.
Most important round of the game here for Thinking Men so far. They've been putting a lot of pressure on Core's economy, even in these losing rounds. They've had to make a big investment of their own. A win here will give them a buffer, some breathing room to even up the game. A loss and they're back on eco, and Core have stabilized their economy. Slow and steady.
Might be for the best, honestly.
Interesting trip.
Yeah. Thinking right
Never
here.
clear this with you two.
No, and that's one of the issues too. I mean, a slow walk is good. I do think once they break this, it's going to be hard. Yeah, Reform's going to hear that, though. I like the pain shell to try to zone these players out.
Reform actually moved up onto the side here. Oh, the Leah. Bloody brilliant. Reform with 3. The spray down is good. And that's what Fade offers you in these scenarios. I said it was a must-win round. I think you may have done more than just win it. Looks like you're on the way to a Zenny flawless. Absolute bloody similar. Beautiful.
Okay, I only have like 78.
I think there was a great approach to it. Yeah, but Reformed, again, with the utility, just made it so much more unfortunate. Pushing the site where the Cypher has complete control over the site was most definitely the worst case scenario that you could have put yourself in. And not to mention, especially with the Neuro Theft still readily available to try to view, under the circumstance that they need it, where they need to go, or even who they need to view. But of course, everybody else sat down on the A site and looking to clear up down inside of holes there.
Well, Leah. Horn, rather. Does get destroyed. Goodness me. It's messy up here. Leah, though, able to hold it down. Beautiful.
Wow.
4 kills. And that'll be a quick one here. Core wanted to get that one out of the way. Nice and early.
All right, quick round. What else can I say other than funneled? They all decided they wanted to push at the same time, and it really didn't work out. Obviously, a big replay on that, especially with the util too. And it was really the breach util there that made this team feel as though they needed to continue to apply that pressure or even fight for the pick. Because once you're in a save like that, you can move out, but then you lose that positioning, you lose that space. So, I mean, definitely looking for something more there. But a push once again, this time Vandals in hand. Hopefully, not the same thing happening again.
Horn, though, came out, ping Zeldris on his way to the site, so I think you may have a pretty good idea exactly how close he is. We do at least have Nerve embedded here. Tons of damage there in the direction of Vix. This should really clear. Oh my, okay, Zeldris sees it coming at the very least. Leah face first into a showstopper. Now Nerve with 70 HP. Oh, sees Vix embedded there and actually gets the better of him. That's a really powerful position that Vix could hold if he were able to hold it. And that's a good enough trade on paint. 4 players to work with here for Core. Very much in post-plant positions. Zeldris, though, couldn't trade.
Zeldris was just sitting back. There was nothing they were watching that really had impact in that moment, so they kind of just fed into, Snarly being taken out. Luckily enough, it is a 3v2 situation. T-Dog ready for the post-plant with an ultimate like that. I love that. The fact that they waited to see if they could gather some information prior to that. But again, walking away with it and using the ultimate to ensure that 11-10. 1 round off of that match point. Not to mention a huge advantage being led into having that Rolling Thunder. Snarly is the win condition for this round.
T-Dog sees the neural theft go off and decides to even up the information game.
Yeah.
Throws a recon bolt at the exact same time, and it actually pings Scrubble Bubble trying to get into halls aggressively, which forces him back. And then it tells Core that they're under no pressure, that T-Dog now can just punch his Fury at the site because Scrubble Bubble's on the other side of A. So sick.
Off your feet!
Oh, and they see it. The Rolling Thunder pushed out, but isn't in a good position. I mean, majority actually, yeah, already being caught into a position like that when thinking men moving forward to try to counter the aggressive play that Core were looking for.
Now Core have to really work hard to reclaim much of this map. And a little low on that utility to do so. See that Reformed has moved off the B side entirely. It has that camera that will spot the move out of B main. They're going to check this.
Thug.
Yeah, beautiful. That is really thorough here from Core. Knowing that giving up so much of the map, Thinking Men could be posted up absolutely bloody anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Does Snarly know about this? He doesn't have the angle.
No, he doesn't.
He got it anyway.
Somehow. Payne was ready for it too. I know for a fact Payne was expecting somebody to be, prepped around the corner. But this is another instance of pushing onto a site that's already very heavily controlled by Reform. How well is this going to work?
He was forced though to cage
30
up
seconds left.
on himself as that fault line did clip him.
Planted.
There's the horn. Nothing gained from that one.
Wow.
Wayward aim there from Reform. T-Dog punishes and now Core get themselves to map and series point. Thinking Men in shambles, but at least have a chance to buy it up.
They're going to have to force. Sort of. That's, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it in your accent. It's so addicting.
It's not great. I mean, I'd higher hopes for their economy, but yeah, they've been ordering too much Uber Eats. Come on, guys, sort it out.
Uber Eats.
Yeah, too many lattes. Yeah, never going to buy a house at this rate, guys.
Uber, do you own that company?
No. Why do you ask? Hey, listen. I love me some value. You think I'll be casting challenges if I own Starbucks? Bro.
I'm kidding. I thought you said Uber Eats. I was like...
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got you. Yes, I mentioned multiple unsponsored companies, so that could be quite confusing. I don't own Uber Eats, no.
Okay, it's okay.
But I do live that as my personal mantra. Yeah,
Uber
Eats. Yeah.
Uber Eats food.
Yeah, I do.
Uber Eats the competition. Honestly, so does Core. It seems like, obviously, coming into that last game, 1-0, now possibly running away with a 2-0. And I mean, that's just keeping on trend, right? Like with what has been going on throughout Challengers. And it's so surprising how that can work. I was kind of expecting, it is a super close game. So I guess it really was on par with what I thought.
Yeah, just looking back, right, man, God, we had a Ascent, of course, that was tight. This also is very much been a close affair. But if I know Thinking Men, they end up winning this round by some ridiculous mechanism. They do have the judge posted up in halls, the classic.
Yeah.
Does it get them there, though? We're about to find out. In terms of key ultimates, nothing really. Ain't not really in a position to take Orb here. There's the haunt. There's the one way.
Oh.
Just don't do it. Don't do it, Zeldas.
Oh,
he's doing it. Oh, the fault line is there. Paint, though, had the escape satchel set up. 5 HP. It's going to be a trade of razors. You're going to have to be happy with that. Leah is like, wait, you were supposed to bait them in here. Now they're not coming. And I have a judge. Hello? Sorry, Leah.
Okay.
Spike down B.
I mean, silence interrupted by the sounds of headshots there. Coming through from Scrubble Bub. They have a smoke. They didn't even place it. They kind of just let this team roam freely, but I think that was the idea.
Oh, this is dirty.
Oh, this is beautiful. Maybe the next one they're able to find it, but it seems like their Core takes it back. 2v3 situation, and it's Thinking Men. So we can push the scenario. Looking to get the plant down, but regardless, Nerve is just trying to bait anybody out that wants to be slightly impatient. 44 seconds left, so there really isn't too much of a, impatience there.
Here's the horn. That gets nothing. Fault line, that's pretty good. All right, Zip, it's time. Another big clutch, mate. 3 players, that's a number you like to work with. Aftershock comes through, that's going to force Nerve back. Ziff might have just seen a glimpse of Reform there. This is still winnable for Core, but they've lost Nerve. It is going to be up to Ziff again. It's deja vu. Do it like he did last time, baby. Not to be. Vix brings him down, just as Core were looking to end this once and for all. It was the same spot. It was a 1v3 as well.
Out the
Crazy.
charges.
Yeah, Ziff was Ziff knew. Honestly, I did like the fight towards that, but the repetitive jiggle peaks. I mean, Vix was kind of expecting that to come through. This is hard. That was so perfect. Scrubble Bub honestly had such a big open opportunity to give Thinking Men that advantage, and obviously they did run away with it. The paranoia being set out to try to stall for that push, it was great, but then it kind of led them to an uncomfortable position where they couldn't use it for the post plant, which I think would have been even better in my opinion, because they could have fought that.
That Cyber Cage timing from Reform to let Scrabble Bubble get in there, it's crazy. There's no way you're checking that angle for the Omen. That one around.
Bomb buddy out.
All right, we're very diligently clearing the lobby here. Zell just holding his satchels for the push onto the side, perhaps. Oh, we're clearing. Okay, clearing trips as well. They're not here, but I appreciate the attention to detail. Clearing back of side as well. That dart doesn't get popped by Vix. Zell just wants more. He's used his satchels though, and there's a one-way in his face. Come the Prowlers. They're over the top here with a seize. And has to back away here from the aftershock. Okay, 5 plays still standing here for Core. It's on the table for them right now. Great paranoia once more coming out from Boba. Zeldris though wants to get closer. He's of course marked. He wants to swing. He wants it so bad, and it all goes wrong, but T-Dog is going to be there to salvage it. Now Vix in a weird spot. T-Dog whips one on him now. 3 kills already for the Sober, and Payne has to go for Nerve. Trying to go for the 1v1. He's able to win that out, but now has 2 more players to deal with. There's a neural theft available should it even be needed. Recon Bolt gives them all the info they need, and T-Dog ends it.
Attackers win.
Thinking Men collapse here as Core finally outlast them. T-Dog enjoying some of that Thinking Men pack.
Man, I don't even like my reaction to that information was Zeldris. The fact that I love, what does that even mean when you like start touching your chin like that? I guess that means you're, is he mewing? I don't know. Either way, Sierra.
No, I can't really reference the actual behavior here. Maybe Sierra can explain it.
I don't know. I think I'm going to be editing here to just start changing the subject, bringing us back to some Valorant here. Hey, we're no 3 maps today, but hey, great stuff coming out from Core, honestly. And yet again, the Zelda show. Like, what can I say?
I mean, he was a monster on Ascent, like generally really incredible. Here, as Raze, you need to be set up by like your breach a lot of the time, right? So much of the undertone of the duelists fighting was, you know, the battle between, both those breaches and setting them up. Vix, like we were talking up, but then we look across and Core's breach is like 10 assists, and Snarly, of course, I had a great performance. Like, hang on, like, you know, like the eye test isn't quite telling the whole story. But so much of the Raze's ability to have impact here can be attributed to the great setups. I thought that, honestly, Thinkerman had better timings, especially defensively on those fault lines, even getting Paint out of trouble when he was under pressure. But Core, man, they had the raw gun skill to win the game, and they were getting the post plants. The 5-player post plant scenarios was huge.
100% as well. I feel like I saw like so much more of T-Dog coming out in like those later rounds too, especially just great Sova utility. I mean, fantastic Sova all around. So just great stuff coming out there, Gomps. But honestly, considering too, between these two teams, how close both of these maps were, I think this was just a really good showdown. And I really liked Core and how they were able to kind of adapt, just stay a step ahead.
Yeah, that was the thing though, like staying a step ahead. They did have some repetitions in their gameplay, which is why I think genuinely that's why Thinking Men didn't have too hard of a time catching up, and a lot of that really did happen when Core was on the defense. I feel like the attack, they did shine a little bit more. They were able to take that step back up, and they were able to get the rounds in a row that they needed to push themselves to that match point, to push themselves to that 13-11, and a huge profit off of that. Obviously they are the MVP as well, is T-Dog, and it's not just because of the kill to death ratio, it's because of the util usage. Majority of the times when you saw those game-changing plays, when you saw the game-changing moments, it was because T-Dog had pushed out their ultimate, the Hunter's Fury, and a big portion of that was also being able to catch that information for the team to allow Zeldris to be that race, to fully flourish in their position, which I loved coming out from Core.
Of course, now too, with that victory coming out from Core, they're definitely looking a little bit better off in terms of their placements with the standings and stuff, of course. It's just week 4. They still have another really tough week ahead of them here. But definitely when the talks have been about, hey, what team are we looking at for the promotion and the regulation, they probably could have been a little easier tonight after that one. Of course, we're going to have the opportunity to talk with someone from QOR after our post-series highlights, so don't wander off too far.
One enemy remains. One enemy remaining. Flawless.
My ultimate is ready.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. 30 seconds left. Spike down A. One. One enemy remaining. 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 Thrifty.
Three for me.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Get out.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Be still. No chance.
One enemy remaining.
After the 2-0 coming out from QOR, oh, we got to get our interviewee in here. But still, great stuff coming from QOR. There he is. There he is. We have Zeldris here on the line. We had, of course, talk to you after your performance here. How are you feeling? You managed to get the second win here for QOR headed in Challengers.
I'm feeling good. I mean, that game was. It's just so fun playing a Challengers. I can't lie. Like the games like that in Valorant are just too fun for me. I just run around, shoot people, and I think I don't know. It was just fun. I don't know how to explain it. It was just an indescribable feeling. It's just like when you're in the zone, you're running around shooting people. That's just what it was for me.
I love the mentality. I love, too, your player portrait. You got a big smile on your face. I'm glad to hear that you're having just as much fun as you show as well. Looking back at that Ascent, you popped off 33 and 15, and it was a really, really close match there, too. And I think some really big show-ups from you to close out the map. So how do you kind of keep your cool in like those pivotal moments to help bring victory for the team?
I think we were down, obviously, like I believe 9-3, and obviously we kind of shooken up a little bit, but we didn't let that stop us. I think we just took plenty of deep breaths, and we just stayed confident throughout the whole game. I mean, we knew that was our game to take. We started off a little slow, but I mean, we came right back and we were shooting heads, and I think we just stayed calm the whole entire time. We knew we were going to win the game. We didn't think we were going to lose for a second.
Love that confidence going into it, especially too. I want to know the confidence levels going into this week with the team, more so because this is a pretty serious week when we're talking about promotion regulation and kind of things for the team. This win definitely puts you in a way better spot. Did you feel any pressure headed into week with that?
I'd say it definitely. I did put pressure on us, but I think it made us work harder, like harder, and just like made us do more, and we just scrimmed more, played more, and just we knew how important it was, and we just kept pushing forward, really. I mean, we just knew that it was a big match, and we just knew that we had to go crazy, and that's what we did.
Hey, well, the work definitely paid off here, and I want to talk about your journey in all of this, because we got to see you compete last year, and I think the growth from last year's Eldris to this year's Eldris has been awesome, and I want to know how you feel about your journey in competing now.
I feel like I was definitely last year a little bit of a rookie. My first time qualifying everything with my teammates, and I had just like a lot to learn. I definitely had like a lot of to rely on my aim that whole last season kind of thing, and it was just a really big learning gap, like in terms of like I would say utility usage and all of those things, and just learning how to just play the game really on just like a better, higher level. And so I just, kept grinding, VOD reviewing, looking at better teams, looking at better players, and I just kept pushing forward. I knew that I could be the best and could be at the top, and that's what I'm gonna keep pushing for. So just mainly like, VOD reviewing and just keep pushing forward are my two things.
I mean, you've been putting in the work, and it's definitely showing up in the server. So congratulations again on that win. I see the team milling around in the background, so I'll let you get to them. Say hi for us, but congrats again on the win. Thanks for chatting.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too. As for us, for realsies this time, we'll bring back Uber and Gomper so we can close out today's show and close out the week. It's always such a sad thing when it's like, okay, I'm not going to wake up to more challengers tomorrow, but at least, Uber, we got two really, really close maps to be ending it off.
Yeah, absolutely. They were, pretty interesting games. I think like looking back to the M80 matchup, they look incredible. On the first map, it's so one-sided, and then the second is like, hang on, well, I feel like I'm watching two completely different teams here. And then, of course, getting to see QOR, again, demonstrate, honestly, some consistency. They are playing some close games. That speaks to just the strength of this Group A. This Group A is really nasty. And I think that's punctuated by the fact that now, Thinking Men, in order to stay off the bottom, have to beat Together We Are Terrific next week. That is a lot to ask for, but Thinking Men are out of opportunities. They have fallen at every hurdle, unfortunately, up until this point. And it's not even a huge round differential. Like they're -5 in maps, but they're -35 in rounds. Like it's not that bad. Genuinely, like the Group B seems like a little bit more wide open. So got to hand to Thinking Men. They've had a tough run of really quality opponents here. Unfortunately, it is looking like they are destined for relegation at this point.
That's so tough too, because when I'm looking back at their matches, I think the first couple of weeks was a little bit more rough around the edges, but their loss versus MXS and even the loss today and how close the matches were, I really don't think they deserve that 0-4 that's laid out there. And I think by the round differential, that kind of starts to paint a little bit of a, wait a second, maybe that isn't quite so accurate here, Gomp. So we got to look at over this Group B as well, because we did get to see earlier M80 face off here, and this one is a little bit more clear-cut.
It definitely is. I mean, looking at M80 in particular, obviously we got to see a hint of their gameplay today as well. They are absolutely dominant. And this team is a team, I mean, listen, you got BCJ, bro. Like, you got so many players that just have such big names, such big titles under the Valorant scene, and obviously have been repping Valorant and like just really, really practicing throughout the past couple years. So, this team is just a core roster of dominant dogs. So when you're looking at that and you're looking at the differential, does it surprise me? Absolutely not. I'll be honest with you. And it's weird because, we talk about M80, going up against Turtle Troop and then being able to see that. The biggest thing of mine is I'm scared to see how big of a difference M80 is versus the second best in this group.
I'm even curious when we start mingling things up here, not next week, but later down the line, with how these groups are going to be stacking up against each other. But of course, this is just after week 4. We still have one more week here of challengers for things to shift around just a little bit. Last chance for those bottom teams to be showing us what they got. But that is all we got for today's show. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Uber Gomps, thank you. Y'all are amazing as always. And production for working so hard behind the scenes. Make sure to be tuning in next week for week 5 of Challengers. And until then, have a great weekend.
Eagle eye.
30 seconds left. One.
Shut down.
One enemy remaining.
Kill confirmed. Ready.
One enemy remaining.
Camera taken.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Good. My ultimate is ready. Got 3.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Blow you up. Got 3.
One enemy remaining.
Satchel out.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Grenade. Like you could stop. Oh, ready.
One enemy remain. One enemy remaining. Flawless.
My ultimate is ready.
One enemy remaining.
My ult ready.
One enemy remaining. 30 seconds left. Spike down A. One.
My ultimate is ready. Oh,
One enemy remaining.
gone.
One enemy remaining.
Ultimate.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Deep.
Three for me.
One enemy remaining.